I Heart by Daniel Johnson. Copyright 2020 by Renaissance.
Stopped dancing and turned to the door. The two women looked out at the door. A dashing cavalry officer with an attractive woman in a silver dress on his arm walked into the room.
"By the dimple on my right cheek,"
said Grace, as her eyes opened wide. She looked again and squinted.
"It can't be."
Antonio stared at her, trying to pull the information from her sister.
"No, it can't be, but my word, if that is not the Lady Elizabeth Greystoke."
"You mean the Lady Greystoke?"
Antonio said.
"Yes."
Grace said, as a ponderous look came into her eyes.
"It's that man who is with her."
"Hasn't she been in seclusion for the past 2 years?"
Antonia asked.
Yes.
Grace replied hastily.
In a convent, I believe. But that's not the amazing thing."
Antonia looked at her confused. Grace stared at her amazed.
"As I live and breathe,"
Grace said with an air of confidence.
"is that not his lordship Emmond Watts?"
Antonia paused, hoping that Grace would elaborate. Grace looked at her with condescension.
"Where have you been for the past 5 years, sister?"
Antonia was only 13 now. She barely even knew the Lady Greystoke, except by reputation. She kept quiet, however, as her sister reveled in her superior knowledge.
"It is the saddest thing,"
Grace began.
"They met 5 years ago, and she was the most radiant woman in all of Essex. He was the most attractive and desired bachelor. It was a match made in heaven.
She looked over at Antonia.
They were both worth over £100,000.
Antonia's eyes began to light up. Grace looked away and fluttered her fan.
"So what happened?"
Antonia asked, not being able to contain her excitement.
"Well, that was the scandal, you see.
Grace said.
The Lady Greystoke was not really a lady at all.
She said.
She was as common as plain bread."
"My good lord,"
Antonia said.
"Yes.
Continued Grace.
Once Lord Watts found out, that was the end of it. Or maybe the beginning."
Grace began to chuckle. Antonia moved closer and gripped her by the arm.
"What? Tell me."
"Well, it turns out that the Lord Watts didn't have any money."
She chuckled with a devilish sound.
"It seemed like the opportunist bride had only caught an empty purse."
Antonia looked stunned.
"Wait, it gets better. It seemed like they really loved each other, because when all the cards were thrown down, they still wanted to get married. But what kind of marriage would that be? So Lord Watts did the only thing he could.
"What was that?"
He joined the army.
Grace said in a matter-of-fact voice.
Then he went off to India to make a fortune, vowing to never come back until he had acquired the status and wealth consummate with the Lady Greystoke's station in life. Except he didn't know she was only a commoner.
"So did she run after him?"
She tried, but could not find him. When she looked into it, she was told he was killed in Sudan. She was heartbroken and wandered around for a year or so. Many people tried to court her, but she remained loyal to her deceased lover. Finally, she joined a convent.
Antonio sighed.
"True love,"
Grace said.
"I guess so. But what is he doing here now? He should be dead."
An officer in a crimson uniform and a woman in a silver dress walked in front of the room as the crowd parted. The couple was greeted with curtsies and bows from the crowd. Elizabeth looked into Andre's eyes, and the sacrifice of their years past made both of them well up with feelings that jutted across the air between their eyes. It created an unbreakable bond that was held as they walked oblivious to the room around them. Yet they continued walking in the complete poise that the rigors of their culture demanded. The scene went pitch black. The darkness held for several unbearable moments.
"We are sorry to inform you that your account has been temporarily suspended."
A message on a large monitor read, "Account status details."
Reason.
Insufficient funds available for auto-renew.
Insufficient funds.
She mumbles.
That's not right.
She presses a button on the remote, and a keypad lights up on the table. She begins to type quickly at first, but her hands slowly and soon begin to cramp up.
Damn.
She stops typing, stretches her fingers, then begins typing more slowly. She looks through her online account. The auto payment has been shut off a week ago. After researching a little, she found that it is due to the low balance in her credit account. After looking into her credit account, she begins to get really nervous. Autopay from her work has not posted last month.
What's going on?
She checks her messages. There are several from her friend, Lisa. She opens the last one. A small video window opens up, and the head and shoulders image of a young woman with short blonde hair begins to speak.
Where are you, Beth? I've been trying to get a hold of you for a week. I tried everyone. I even tried that old online portal. But it's not taking any messages.
Beth had turned it off last month. She did not want messages from the outside to bother her. This is her vacation, and she does not want to be pulled back into the world or something like that.
You have been listening to I Heart You by Daniel Johnson. Copyright 2020 by Renaissance Productions. For this and other writings, go to genesis2112.com or search SULI Daniel Johnson on Kindle, iBooks, or Barnes and Nobel.